So, have you ever heard about a new movie or a TV show from a friend, or see something on the internet or somewhere else that intrigued you? Maybe it was a character you loved as a kid, maybe something you watched at the theater with your parents. We've all been there, right? So, around 2014, I landed on a TV show that a friend of mine recommended due to its rather hardcore stance on how to deal with criminals from a superhero perspective. Uh, it was called Arrow, starring Stephen Amell as a pissed off, arrow shooting, green clad super slash anti hero. I was in. The show was super cool. Uh, but I noticed a distinct pattern, and that was about 10 years ago, that involved what I called a bait and switch, which has now become commonplace, and many others have noted this evil on the internets out there. You hear it all the time now. It's where studios will take a well established IP, advertise the heck out of it with an established character, often and usually a white male, run about 3 to 6 episodes with that character, acting as you would expect, then after you're hooked, start slipping into that woke crap. Usually it's small at first, then by the second or third season, that character is relegated to third or fourth string in his own series. In 2015, when I started watching Arrow, roughly, maybe 2014, I noticed this trend. I irritated my wife often, as I would point out this fact and my assertion that some nefarious group is behind the scenes with a whiteboard and markers checking off, all the proper groups that must be included. It just seemed like it had to be like that. And as fate would have it, I was 100% correct. Uh, in fact, they had. I wasn't a huge Arrow fan in the comics, but I didn't remember this black sidekick he had that was in the TV show. And as according to Grok, John Wiggle, Diggle, whatever his name is, he was a new character introduced in the show that carried over to the comics with the same racial identity. His creation reflected a deliberate choice by the Arrow writers to add a unique black character to the Green Arrow. So they were that's exactly what they were doing. They were checking boxes. Also, according to Grok, in early 2024, there was a document allegedly leaked from Disney that sparked widespread discussion. Uh, this document, which was shared by Elon Musk on X and attributed to an anonymous source, can't say that word, outlines specific diversity and inclusion standards for Disney's general entertainment content. It reportedly mandated that at least 50% of regular and recurring written characters and actors in Disney productions must come from underrepresented groups, which included people of color, women, other gender identities. I don't know where they get all those extras, but whatever. Additional criteria supposedly required meaningful inclusion of these groups in secondary roles, themes, narratives, as well as similar quotas for creative leadership and below the line crew positions. The leak gained traction amid claims of institutionalized racism and sexism, with critics arguing it prioritized diversity over merit. However, some point out that these standards weren't entirely secret. Disney had publicly shared similar inclusion goals on its website since 2020, aiming aiming to reflect diverse audiences. The controversy intensified when America First Legal filed civil rights complaint in 2024 alleging illegal race and discrimination based on those policies. They've never officially confirmed the leak's authenticity, but the debate continues to fuel discussions about diversity in entertainment. And that was from Grok, that whole passage. So, so in 2012 is when the Arrow show debuted, and like I said, I didn't catch on for a couple years, and I wasn't looking. I don't think any of us were catching on to this crap at that point. But I was noticing, like, why are they doing this? Why are they kept adding all these strange new characters? They added like this Hispanic guy who was like a hockey player, hockey mask wearing, hit people with sticks. It was stupid. And who else? Oh, his girlfriend became like a screaming demon of some sort that took down people by yelling at them. And his little sister weighed all of 90 pounds, spent like 2 months away, came back, of course, just as good as he was, running around shooting arrows at people. My final straw with it was when they showed up with a one season with a whole new character. He was a black individual who was gay, and he then had a white husband. He was anti-gun, anti all that kind of stuff. His superpower was he was smarter than everybody, of course, and he had like these little floating balls that he would hold in his hand, hover above in his hand, and he would sort of fling them at people's faces. So he'd shoot his balls into people's faces. I was out at that point. Arrow just it went downhill very quickly. And then, 2015 is when Force Awakens came out, and same thing. They basically just regurgitated the very first New Hope movie, only now we've got Luke out of there and we've got Daisy Ridley in there. Um, so they were bent on the destruction of Luke Skywalker. They were wanting to get rid of just in any strong male. Anything that represented uh, what they were fighting against. So he had to be made irrelevant and silly, like when they had him drink milk from the teeth of some disgusting creature, throw away his lightsaber. Uh, Once they destroyed him, then they were able to get to the business of propping up their preferred hero, the strong woman. So, anyways, this has been going on for a long time. I would just ask people to pay attention next time you watch a woke movie or TV and see if you don't recognize that pattern. Even commercials do it. Uh, if a white dude is in it at all, he'll either be bumbling idiot, made butt of jokes, or the evil capitalist attempting to harm the POCs that are trying to live their best lives. Gone are the days of Humphrey Bogart saving the day in Casablanca or Errol Flynn swashbuckling his way to the heart of Olivia de Havilland. Always mess her name up. Uh, Henry Cavill famously left The Witcher over that issue. He knew the character better than the producers and was unhappy with how they were relegating him to third banana behind a couple of girls that were side characters in the books and video games. It was called The Witcher, but he was basically out. And there's countless other examples of this. Hawkeye, they replaced him with a new, better white chick. Captain America, you got to replace with a new, better black man. Iron Man, new, better young black girl. Peter Parker, new, better young black juvenile. Thor, of course, was placed by his girlfriend, who was a new, better young white girl. Even Hulk, new, better white woman. They don't need no man. So it's out there, it's happening. Uh, and I think it's something everyone should take note of, and and just let's just not let them get away with this, and I think based on some of the latest numbers from Snow White and some other movies, I think they're starting to realize this isn't working. Trying to just replace every either white man or even white woman in that case with something they think is better suited to modern audiences. So that's it for today. Just want to get that off my chest. It's been irritating me. So thank you for listening and stumbling across my video. And everybody, God bless and take care.